Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of In Our Own Voices with Shevone Torres, CB Voices of Color's own youth advocate. Shevone Torres, if you're not familiar with her, she's a single mother from South Jersey and an organizer for Black Lives Matter. Shevone has been involved in activism for many years and has dedicated her life towards the liberation and uplifting of Black and Brown people, and has just recently decided to become more public and vocal in her advocacy. Today, Shevone will be talking to us, particularly to parents of children of color, about allowing kids to exercise their authority to give or not give consent. Over to you, Shevone, and thank you for joining us today again.
Thank you for having me again. I really appreciate being here. This topic I want to talk about, I think is really important for us, not as as parents, but also as adults in itself, is the fact that given the fact that we have the Me Too movement that's going on, and we're teaching people about consent, we also need to teach our parents about that our children should be able to give consent. I grew up old school where if like somebody we met or like we never we didn't want to, we were forced to give hugs and kisses, which that also puts in the mindset of children that even though I don't want to, I have to do it, which will affect them later on in life, especially Black women, where if somebody has pressured them to have intercourse and they don't want to, they feel like, well, I might as well, I'm going to have to let that happen. And that causes, like I said, it causes a rift when they get older. And I know a lot of old school parents is like, well, I'm the parent and what I say goes, and this is the children. But you're not paying attention to the effects of that. You're not giving your child consent, allowing them to have consent, like, I want to be touched or I don't want to be touched. When that happens, you are, like I said, you're reinforcing the fact that even though that child does not want it to happen, that my mom or my dad is going to make me do it. So that leaves things open for predators to come to these children and go ahead and do whatever they feel like they want to these children, and the children feel like they can't say no. And that leaves a long-lasting effect, and it can actually build up some animosity between the child and the parent, because as a parent, our first job is to protect our children, especially Black and brown children, because we know they're not going to be protected when they go outside that door. Nobody cares about them once they leave that house. And and for them to know that they're not safe outside and then not to feel safe within the house, where can these children go? And so I think is with parents, we want to teach our parents to say, it's okay, teach our kids, it's okay to say, well, I don't feel like giving Nana a hug today, or I don't feel like giving Pop-Up a hug today. Maybe they're human beings. Sometimes they're just not in the mood, just like I'm sure like you're not in the mood to be touched. Like, I don't feel like being bothered, go on about your business, leave me alone, I'm going to sit here in my corner. Children have these same attitudes, they have these same feelings, they just don't want to be touched. And we have to stop forcing this on children, which is a huge problem. And just because you're allowing your child to have autonomy of their own body is not making you a bad parent. It's not being like the whole saying is, I'm your mom, not your friend type thing. That's not what you're doing. You're teaching your child, this is your body. You have a right to your own body, and if you don't want to be touched, that's fine. You're not wrong if you don't want to be touched. And if an adult has an attitude because the child don't feel like being touched, no, you don't take it out on the child. You need to check that adult. Like, why are you so pressed on it? He or she, they don't want to give you a hug. That's not why. There may be something going on, and that's something you need to check. Because if a child is constantly uncomfortable with that one adult, they might not necessarily done anything to that child, but there's something vibe that is giving off that child does not feel comfortable with. And as parents, we need to watch our children and then say, okay, well, this person, they're not getting a weird vibe off this person, so I'm gonna check this out and find out who this person is and what they're about. And this is speaking from experience. Like I said, I grew up in the church. I went to church like Monday through Sunday. I was in the church. And there's one particular deacon, I'm not going to put their names out because libel and all that other stuff, but he know who he is. But uh, when growing up in church, he would come to the little girls at church and tell us, well, ask us if we wanted candy. Of course, all children want candy. Well, in order to get candy, we had to give him a hug, a kiss on the cheek, or we had to sit on his lap in order to get this candy. And then the fact that if me, I was always an outspoken child. I'm like, you're not Santa Claus. I'm not sitting on your lap. I'm not doing that. And then he would go back and be like, oh, your child was being disrespectful. And I would get yelled at for it because I exercise my own autonomy. Like, I don't want this. And the fact that you're bribing children for candy, that's saying a lot. And unfortunately, later on, I found out he was molesting little girls. But the thing is, because the parents were saying, oh, give Deacon such and such a hug. Go ahead. Go give this Deacon such and such a kiss. The girls, they felt like they couldn't come to their parents because they were going like, yeah, it's fine. He's a deacon of the church, blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, he might be a deacon, but he's still human and he's still fallible. And another thing that we need to address is that when children say something, we need to pay attention to it. And there's a lot of things that's going on within our household. Like I showed you, I grew up old school. Whatever happened in the house stays in the house, stuff like that. And that's another way that is causing harm to our children because we like you keep him away from the children. We all know what he's doing. It's not a secret. We all know what he or she are doing. But instead of confronting them, we place it all on the children. And then again, that goes on to consent. Like they might not want to deal with this person. They know that he's a problem, but the fact that you're protecting this creepy aunt or uncle, the children are not going to feel safe with you. And as a parent, I think that's what we need to worry about. Don't worry about what other people are saying. You focus on your child, on what your child is telling to you. And I know they heard like children should be seen and not heard. That's said by creepy adults that don't want to get checked by children because the children are right. And they don't like to be seen wrong because of the child. And that's the whole ageism. Age doesn't necessarily come with wisdom. I know some really smart 10-year-olds that run circles around 40-some-odd-year-old people. So, and the thing is, we need, within ourselves, we need to, because I know y'all mostly probably grew up the same way I did. Like, the adults are always right, and it was always about a matter of respect. But children need respect, too. And giving them respect is also letting them give consent. And when you allow your child to get that consent, you build a bond with your child. Like my children, like you don't have to hug anybody you don't want to. You don't have to kiss anybody, not even me. If I want to hug, I don't feel like it. All right, I'm gonna let that go. And now I have a bond with my children where they could tell me anything, and they know mommy has my back. Mommy will not let anything happen to me, and that's how a lot of times parents have the children have these secrets, and they don't tell the parents, and the parents are like, I never knew this, and it all started because you gave that child consent. Yes, you this is your body. You have your right to your own body. This is this, and also, but it also doesn't mean that you're not supposed to discipline your child whatsoever. That's like, look, come on, we all know that. But we're not going to have children running them up. But the fact is, teaching them consent is not like teaching the kids to be unruly and disrespectful at all. And that's the thing they conflate with the two. I know I'm not trying to get too long, so I'm gonna kind of round this back, kind of wind it up real quick. The fact is, we need to understand exactly what consent is, and a lot of people think it's just, oh, I can say yes, no, willy-nilly. The fact is that consent also comes with autonomy, being their own person. That's their own body, which, like I said, would protect them in the future when, especially Black women, when they become adults and they have being pressured by men. Oh, well, everybody's doing it. Oh, I thought you was a grown woman. And because as a child, they're taught that's their body. And just because if they don't want to do it, they don't have to. They can go to that other guy when they're adult, like, yo, kick rocks. This is my body. I don't want to do it. Go on about your business. Call an Uber, call a Lyft, call Tyrone if you feel like, if you need to. It's it. That's it. And they don't have to feel like, well, I want to be with him. I want to make them happy, so I guess I have to do it. And that's what causes a lot of issues with Black women as adults, and also Black men too. I don't want to put that out like it's all just a women thing, but like I said, this little bit of advice, like teaching consent and autonomy, It's not something for just for a child, but it helps them prepare them in the future as an adult and be able to say no. But I want to I appreciate again having the time to speak to me. I appreciate everybody. I hope to see you guys again, and I look forward to the next one. Thank you.